That voice inside you can sound so quiet at first. It may come like a whisper in the middle of the day, a small feeling in the chest, a passing thought that says, "You are not enough." And even when no one else hears it, you hear it. Even when the world around you looks normal, something inside feels heavy. You may smile, keep going, do what needs to be done, and still carry that hidden voice within you. It follows you into your mornings, into your choices, into your relationships, into your dreams. It speaks when you look at yourself too closely. It speaks when something goes wrong. It speaks when you compare yourself with others. It speaks when you are tired, when you are hurt, when you are unsure. And after hearing it enough times, you may begin to think it is telling the truth. But that voice is not the truth of who you are. It may sound familiar. It may sound convincing. It may even sound like your own voice. But just because something is familiar does not mean it is true. Just because something repeats itself does not mean it is wise. And just because you have heard it for many years does not mean it belongs to your soul. There is a difference between truth and repetition. There is a difference between your real self and the voice of an old wound. There is a difference between who you are and what pain has taught you to believe. For many people, this voice has been there for so long that it feels normal. It feels like part of the mind, part of the identity, part of everyday life. It may say, "You should be better than this." It may say, "Look at everyone else." It may say, "You always fall short." It may say, "If you were enough, things would be easier." It may say, "If you were enough, you would be more loved, more successful, more calm, more certain, more whole." It may keep moving the line, asking for more, and still never saying, "Now you can rest. Now you are enough. Now you may be at peace." That is the cruel thing about this inner voice. It does not want peace. It wants control. It wants fear. It wants you to stay small, tired, and doubtful. It keeps you busy trying to earn what was never meant to be earned in the first place. Your worth is not a prize at the end of suffering. Your worth is not a reward for being perfect. Your worth is not waiting for you somewhere in the future. Your worth is already here. It is already within you. It has been there in every broken moment, in every uncertain season, in every tear, in every quiet prayer, in every day you felt lost and still kept going. The voice that says you are not enough is not your deepest voice. It is not the voice of love. It is not the voice of peace. It is not the voice of truth. It is only a voice that learned how to survive by repeating fear. And today, something softer is beginning. Today, you do not need to push that voice away with force. You do not need to hate it. You do not need to fight yourself. You only need to begin seeing clearly. You only need to begin noticing that there is another voice inside you too. A quieter voice, a kinder voice, a wiser voice, a voice that does not shame you, a voice that does not rush you, a voice that does not compare you, a voice that does not ask you to become someone else before you can be loved. That voice is the voice of healing, and maybe it has been hard to hear because life has been noisy. Maybe pain has spoken louder. Maybe fear has spoken first. Maybe old memories have kept filling the room. Maybe other people's words stayed in your heart longer than they should have. Maybe you learned to be hard on yourself because the world was hard on you. Maybe you learned to expect less from life because disappointment came early. Maybe you learned to hide your needs, hide your softness, hide your hope. Maybe you learned to believe that if you expected nothing, then nothing could hurt you. Maybe you learned to judge yourself before anyone else could judge you. Maybe you learned to speak harshly inside because somewhere long ago, harshness became familiar. But still, beneath all of that, your true self remained untouched. That is something very important to remember. The deepest part of you has never been damaged by the voice that says you are not enough. That voice may have covered your light, but it did not destroy it. It may have made you forget your value, but it did not remove your value. It may have made you feel far from yourself, but it did not separate you from who you really are. Your real self is still there, waiting patiently under all the noise, under all the fear, under all the false stories, under all the pressure. Your real self is not shouting. Your real self is not attacking. Your real self is not demanding perfection. Your real self is calm. It is gentle. It is steady. It is loving. It is whole. There is a sacred moment that happens when you begin to see that the voice of not enough is not your identity. It is only a pattern. It is only an old thought. It is only a painful echo. And once you begin to see it that way, something starts to loosen inside. The grip begins to soften. The fear begins to lose some of its power. The shame begins to crack. The heart begins to breathe again. Healing begins not when you become someone new, but when you stop believing every painful thing the wounded mind says. Think about how much energy it takes to live under the weight of not feeling enough. It touches everything. It can make you overwork because you think rest must be earned. It can make you stay silent because you think your voice does not matter. It can make you chase approval because you think love must be won. It can make you settle for less because you think that is all you deserve. It can make you hide your gifts because you fear being seen. It can make you compare your beginning to someone else's middle. It can make you question every step, every choice, every dream. It can make even simple moments feel heavy because the heart is carrying a quiet burden all the time. And yet, many people live this way for years without even knowing the name of the burden. They call it stress. They call it insecurity. They call it just being realistic. They call it being humble. They call it trying harder. They call it normal. But deep down, it is often the same wound wearing many different clothes. The wound of believing somehow, somewhere, in some hidden corner of the heart, that who you are is not enough. That wound can show up in very small ways. It may show up when you cannot accept a kind word. It may show up when someone loves you and part of you does not trust it. It may show up when an opportunity comes and you pull back. It may show up when you make one mistake and suddenly speak to yourself as if you are the mistake. It may show up when you keep moving, keep doing, keep proving, but never feel settled, never feel complete, never feel safe inside your own being. The outside may change, but the old voice keeps saying the same thing in a different form. Still not enough, still not there, still not worthy, still not ready. That is why this healing matters so deeply. This is not only about feeling better for a few moments. This is about changing the relationship you have with your own inner world. This is about learning how to live without being followed everywhere by a voice that cuts you down. This is about ending the habit of turning against yourself. This is about returning to a softer way of being, a truer way of being, a kinder way of being. A way of being where your own mind becomes a place of support instead of fear, a shelter instead of a storm. You do not need to wait for some perfect day to begin. You do not need to become more spiritual, more disciplined, more healed, or more certain before you are ready. You are ready now because the pain of that inner voice has already shown you what needs love. Readiness does not always feel strong. Sometimes readiness feels like being tired of hurting in the same way. Sometimes readiness feels like a quiet prayer that says, I do not want to live at war with myself anymore. Sometimes readiness feels like hearing a truth you have always needed and letting your heart finally say, yes, that is what I have been missing. So if something inside you is softening right now, trust that. If something inside you is tired of the old voice, trust that. If part of you is beginning to hope that peace is possible, trust that too. Hope is not weakness. Hope is the heart remembering what the mind forgot. Hope is the soul opening a small window. Hope is healing knocking gently from the inside. You may not be able to silence that voice all at once. That is all right. This is not about force. This is not about becoming perfect at healing. This is about beginning to listen differently. It is about hearing the voice of not enough and no longer bowing to it as if it were the truth. It is about answering it with something softer, something wiser, something real, not with pressure, not with blame, but with love, with patience, with truth. Maybe for a long time you believed that if you judged yourself enough, you would improve. Maybe you believed that if you were hard on yourself, you would finally become worthy. Maybe you believed that self-criticism was useful because it kept you alert, careful, driven. But the heart does not bloom under attack. The soul does not open under shame. Peace does not grow in the soil of constant self-rejection. A person may push themselves with fear for a while, but they cannot truly heal that way. Deep healing comes when the heart feels safe enough to soften, and safety begins with the way you speak inside. So pause for a moment and let this truth settle into you. The voice that says you are not enough is not the voice that will heal you. The voice that says you are not enough is not the voice that knows your worth. The voice that says you are not enough is not the voice of your future. It is only an old sound inside a tender place, and that tender place does not need more attack. It needs care. It needs understanding. It needs compassion. It needs a new way of being held from within. There is nothing weak about choosing kindness toward yourself. There is nothing foolish about speaking gently to your own heart. There is nothing selfish about wanting peace inside your mind. In truth, it is one of the most sacred choices you can make, because when you begin to heal the voice inside you, you begin to heal the way you move through the whole world. You begin to love without begging. You begin to work without proving. You begin to rest without guilt. You begin to receive without fear. You begin to show up without the same old shame sitting on your shoulders. You begin to breathe differently, walk differently, choose differently, live differently, and all of that begins with one simple, powerful realization. You are not the voice that wounds you. You are the awareness that can hear it. You are the heart that can answer it. You are the presence that can choose again. You are the life within you that has never stopped being worthy. Even now, even here, even after all the years of doubt, that truth remains. Nothing you have been through has erased it. Nothing you have believed has erased it. Nothing you failed to become has erased it. Worthiness is not gone. Love is not gone. Your light is not gone. They may feel buried, but they are not gone. And this moment is not asking you to become someone else. It is asking you to come back to yourself, to the self beneath the fear, to the self beneath the old words, to the self beneath the habit of never feeling enough. That self is still here. That self is still waiting. That self is still whole. And the more gently you listen, the more clearly you will begin to hear it. Before anything can truly heal, the heart needs a little space. The body needs a little softness. The mind needs a little quiet. Healing does not begin when everything is already perfect. Healing begins when, in the middle of the noise, you choose to make one gentle moment for yourself. Just one moment to stop running. One moment to stop proving. One moment to stop carrying every thought as if it were a fact. One moment to breathe and remember that right here, in this very moment, you are safe enough to soften. Take a slow breath in and let it out slowly. Then again, a little more gently this time. Let the breath come into the body like a kind hand. Let it move through the places that feel tight. Let it reach the chest, the stomach, the shoulders, the jaw. So often the voice of not enough does not live only in the mind. It lives in the body too. It lives in the tightness, in the pressure, in the holding, in the way the heart braces without even knowing it is bracing, in the way the body stays ready for rejection, ready for failure, ready for one more reason to feel small. The body learns what the mind repeats. And when the mind has repeated fear for a long time, the body begins to wear that fear like armor. But you do not need armor for this moment. Place your hand over your heart if that feels right. Feel the warmth of your own hand there. Feel the gentle rise and fall beneath it. There is something deeply healing about this simple act. Not because it changes everything in 1 second, but because it sends a message inward. A message that says, I am here with you. I am not leaving you alone with all of this. I am willing to meet myself with softness. I am willing to stay present. I am willing to become a safe place for my own heart. Many people spend so much of life looking for safety outside themselves that they forget they can begin creating it within. Outer safety matters, yes, but inner safety matters too. Inner safety is the quiet feeling that you do not have to attack yourself all the time. Inner safety is the moment your own thoughts stop feeling like enemies. Inner safety is the moment you stop standing over yourself with judgment and instead sit beside yourself with compassion. Inner safety is not pretending everything feels fine. It is knowing you can stay with yourself gently even when things feel hard. Take another breath and let the exhale be longer. Let your shoulders drop a little. Let your face soften. Let the day, with all its noise and pressure, move a little farther away for this moment. You do not need to solve your whole life right now. You do not need to figure out the future. You do not need to explain your pain or organize your healing or prove that you are making enough progress. For this moment, there is nothing to prove. There is nowhere else to get to. There is only this breath, this body, this heart, this quiet opening. Sometimes the reason healing feels far away is not because it is impossible. It is because the nervous system has forgotten how to rest. It has forgotten how to be still without expecting danger. It has forgotten how to receive kindness without suspicion. It has forgotten how to soften without feeling exposed. So when peace first begins to appear, even a little, the body may not trust it. The mind may keep moving, the old voice may keep speaking. That does not mean the peace is not real. It only means the system is learning something new. And what it is learning now is this: calm is safe, softness is safe, breathing is safe, being here is safe. You are allowed to pause without falling behind. You are allowed to rest without becoming less worthy. You are allowed to be gentle with yourself, even before everything is healed. These truths matter because the voice that says you are not enough often creates an inner life that feels rushed, tense, and sharp. It tells you to hurry. It tells you to fix yourself. It tells you to improve before you can feel peace. It tells you not to relax until everything is in order. But peace does not come as a reward for inner war. Peace comes when the war begins to end. Peace comes when you stop treating yourself like a problem to solve and start treating yourself like a life to care for. So breathe again and let the breath say what words cannot always say. Let it say, slow down. Let it say, it is all right to be here. Let it say, you do not have to fight for this moment. Let it say, your heart may rest now. There is great power in calming the body before asking the heart to open. When the body is tense, every thought feels louder, every fear feels larger, every wound feels closer. But when the body begins to soften, even a little, the mind becomes less crowded. The inner world gains some space. And in that space, healing can begin to speak. Maybe no one taught you how to calm yourself with love. Maybe you were taught how to keep going, how to ignore your feelings, how to be strong, how to smile, how to do what was needed. Maybe you became very good at surviving, very good at carrying things quietly, very good at moving forward even when the inside of you felt heavy. But surviving and soothing are not the same thing. Enduring and nurturing are not the same thing. Being strong does not mean never needing gentleness. In fact, one of the strongest things you can do is stop for a moment and care for your inner state. That may sound simple, but it is not small. It is sacred. It is sacred because each time you calm yourself with tenderness, you teach your body and mind a new way to live. You teach yourself that love is not only something you hope to receive from outside. It is something you can begin offering within. You teach yourself that softness is not failure. You teach yourself that peace is not laziness. You teach yourself that quiet does not mean emptiness. Quiet can become a meeting place, a place where your deeper truth starts to return. As you breathe, notice what your mind wants to do. Does it want to rush ahead? Does it want to judge this moment? Does it want to say, this is not enough, not useful enough, not deep enough, not fast enough? That is all right. There is no need to fight the mind. Just notice it. Notice how quickly it has learned to leave the present moment. Notice how quickly it reaches for effort, for control, for fear. And then, without anger, without pressure, bring yourself back. Back to the breath. Back to the hand over the heart. Back to this small moment of safety. Back to the truth that you are allowed to be here. It is amazing how much healing can begin when a person feels safe enough to stop clenching. The heart opens differently. The thoughts soften differently. The body receives differently. It becomes easier to hear a kinder voice when the whole system is no longer bracing against life. That is why calm matters. Calm is not just a nice feeling. Calm is a doorway. Calm is a healing ground. Calm is the space where the old voice begins to lose its hold because the body is no longer feeding it with constant fear. There is a peaceful truth here that deserves to be heard slowly. You do not need to earn this breath. You do not need to earn this pause. You do not need to earn gentleness. You do not need to earn the right to sit with yourself kindly. You do not need to earn peace before practicing peace. You are allowed to begin now. If tears rise, let them rise. If tiredness comes, let it be there. If the mind keeps talking, let it talk while you keep breathing. This is not about forcing silence. It is about offering calm. And sometimes calm does not arrive all at once. Sometimes it arrives in layers. A softer breath, a slower heartbeat, a little space in the chest, a less harsh thought, a slight feeling of being held from within. These are not small things. These are healing things. Rest a little deeper into the body. Imagine the breath moving into places where you have been holding too much. Into the chest that has been tight with pressure. Into the belly that has carried quiet fear. Into the throat that has swallowed too many unspoken feelings. Into the shoulders that have been lifting the weight of trying to be enough. Let the breath move there, not to force anything open, but to say, I see you, I am here. You may soften now. When a person has lived with the voice of not enough for a long time, even rest can feel uncomfortable. Even peace can feel unfamiliar. There may be a strange feeling that if you relax too much, something will go wrong. That if you stop criticizing yourself, you will stop growing. That if you let go of pressure, you will lose control. But real growth does not depend on self-harm. Real growth does not require inner cruelty. Real growth can happen in an atmosphere of love. In fact, true healing grows best there. So let this moment be a different kind of beginning. Not a beginning built on pressure, but on presence. Not a beginning built on fear, but on kindness. Not a beginning built on proving, but on allowing. Allowing yourself to breathe. Allowing yourself to slow down. Allowing yourself to feel held by the moment. Allowing yourself to stop fighting what you feel. Allowing yourself to exist without correcting yourself every second. There is so much peace in that word, allow. Allow the breath. Allow the body, allow the feeling, allow the tenderness, allow this moment to be enough. And if the old voice tries to interrupt, if it says this is silly or weak or pointless, let that voice pass by like a cloud. You do not have to climb inside every thought. You do not have to answer every fear. You do not have to keep every old pattern alive. You can simply return again and again to the breath, to the body, to the heart, to the calm that is slowly becoming more familiar. Your healing does not need to be loud to be real. Sometimes healing looks like breathing instead of bracing. Sometimes healing looks like resting instead of rushing. Sometimes healing looks like placing a hand on your heart and staying there long enough to feel that you exist beneath all the pressure. Sometimes healing looks like not solving anything for one sacred moment and simply letting yourself be. This is where so much begins. Not in force, not in perfection, not in a dramatic change, but in a gentle return, a return to the body, a return to the present, a return to the heart, a return to the simple truth that right now, in this breath, you are safe enough to begin. That voice inside you did not appear from nowhere. It did not rise from truth. It did not come from the deepest part of your being. It was learned. It was repeated. It was shaped over time. And because it was learned, it can also be unlearned. Because it was repeated, it can be replaced. Because it was shaped, it can be softened. This is important to understand because many people hear that inner voice for so long that they think it is simply who they are. But it is not who you are. It is something you have heard, something you have absorbed, something you have practiced without meaning to. It is not your essence. It is not your soul. It is not your truth. The voice that says you are not enough often begins in pain. It may begin with words spoken by others. It may begin with silence where love was needed. It may begin with being compared. It may begin with being ignored. It may begin with being corrected more than being comforted. It may begin with feeling that love came with conditions. It may begin with moments that made the young heart feel unsafe, unseen, or not quite right. And because the mind tries to make sense of pain, it starts creating meanings. It starts making quiet decisions about identity. It says, maybe I am the problem. Maybe I need to be better. Maybe I need to do more. Maybe if I become different, I will finally be accepted, chosen, loved, safe. That is how the voice begins to grow. At first, it may not even sound harsh. It may sound practical. It may sound like a plan for survival. It may say, do not be too much. Be careful. Try harder. Do not trust too easily. Do not make mistakes. Keep people happy. Stay useful. Stay small enough to avoid rejection. Stay impressive enough to avoid shame. Slowly, what began as protection turns into pressure. What began as a defense turns into a wound. What began as fear turns into identity. And after enough repetition, the voice no longer sounds like something learned. It sounds like fact. But pain is a poor teacher of truth. Pain can teach fear. Pain can teach hiding. Pain can teach self-doubt. Pain can teach pleasing. Pain can teach shrinking. Pain can teach the heart to question its own worth. But none of that means the lessons are true. Think about how a child learns to see the world. A child is open. A child absorbs. A child listens not only to words, but to tone, energy, attention, absence, tension, approval, rejection. A child learns what love feels like, what safe feels like, what worth feels like by living inside certain patterns. If those patterns are gentle and loving, the inner voice grows differently. If those patterns are cold, critical, or confusing, the inner voice grows differently too. The child begins to carry inside what life keeps showing outside. And later, even when the outer world changes, the inner voice may stay the same. This is why the voice can feel so old. Because in many ways, it is old. It may have roots in moments you do not even remember clearly. A look, a tone, a correction, a rejection, a season of loneliness, a home where feelings were not safe, a place where love felt unstable, a time when doing well brought attention, but simply being yourself did not feel enough. The body remembers. The heart remembers. The mind builds around those memories, and then the inner voice begins repeating the messages that pain once carried. You may hear it when you fail, but also when you succeed. That is one of the hardest parts to understand. Many people think that once they achieve enough, the voice will stop. Once they become more successful, more loved, more beautiful, more wise, more spiritually strong, then finally the voice will grow quiet. But the voice is not healed by outer proof. It is rarely satisfied by achievement. It simply changes shape. If you do well, it says you should do better. If you rest, it says you are falling behind. If you are loved, it says they do not really know you. If you are seen, it says do not get comfortable. If you heal one layer, it looks for another place to speak from. Because the problem was never that you lacked worth. The problem was that the inner voice learned to deny it. That is why understanding the voice matters more than obeying it. The voice often speaks in patterns. Once you notice those patterns, you begin to see that it is not truth talking. It is repetition. It is habit. It is old fear speaking with confidence. It often uses words like always and never. It often takes one moment and turns it into a whole identity. One mistake becomes proof that you are failing. One rejection becomes proof that you are unlovable. One delay becomes proof that you are behind. One hard season becomes proof that something is wrong with you. The voice does not speak with fairness. It speaks with fear. It does not seek balance. It seeks control. And very often, It speaks in comparison. Look at others. See how they are doing better. See how they are more certain, more loved, more accomplished, more at peace. Why are you not there yet? Why are you still struggling? Why can they do it and you cannot? Comparison is one of the favorite tools of the not enough voice because comparison keeps the heart disconnected from its own path. It keeps your eyes on someone else's life while making you feel ashamed of your own timing. It hides the truth that every soul unfolds differently. It hides the truth that what you see on the surface tells you very little about what another person is carrying. It hides the truth that your value does not shrink because someone else is shining. The inner voice also speaks through perfection. It says, not yet. It says, almost. It says, close, but not enough. It moves the line again and again. It does not let joy settle. It does not let peace stay for long. It says you can rest after one more thing, one more success, one more improvement, one more proof. But there is always one more, because perfection is not the doorway to peace. It is often the prison that keeps peace away. And then there is shame. Shame is different from healthy regret. Healthy regret says that action was not aligned with who I want to be. Shame says, I am the problem. Healthy regret can guide. Shame only crushes. The voice of not enough often uses shame because shame makes the heart feel powerless. Shame makes healing feel far away. Shame makes a person hide. And what hides does not easily heal. What hides often stays lonely. What stays lonely often stays tangled in the same old beliefs. So when the voice says you are not enough, it is not simply making a comment. It is often pulling from years of old pain, old fear, old messages, old patterns, old survival ways that once tried to protect you. That does not mean the voice is evil. It means the voice is wounded. It means part of the inner world learned to survive through criticism. It means the mind thought that if it stayed alert enough, hard enough, sharp enough, maybe it could prevent more hurt. But protecting yourself with constant self-attack is like trying to create warmth with ice. It does not work. It only makes the heart colder. The truth is, this voice was never your true self speaking. Your true self does not call you unworthy. Your true self does not withhold love from you. Your true self does not delight in your shame. Your true self does not compare your spirit to someone else's path. Your true self does not say, you must become someone else to deserve peace. The true self may guide you. It may invite growth. It may call you into honesty. But it does so with love. It does so with steadiness. It does so without cruelty. That is one of the clearest ways to tell the difference. Truth may be direct, but it is not cruel. Love may call you higher, but it does not humiliate you on the way. Wisdom may show you what needs healing, but it does not turn your wounds into your identity. The inner voice that says you are not enough often becomes loud in certain moments. It may become louder when you are tired because tiredness weakens the walls around old pain. It may become louder after rejection because rejection touches the same wound. It may become louder when you are beginning something new because growth can wake fear. It may become louder in silence because silence gives old thoughts room to rise. It may become louder around certain people because something in their energy reminds the nervous system of older pain. Once you begin noticing when it rises, you start seeing that it is not random. It has patterns, it has triggers, it has favorite places to speak from. And that is good to see because anything with a pattern can be understood. Anything that can be understood can begin to loosen. Anything that begins to loosen can begin to heal. There is great freedom in saying, "This voice is active right now, but it is not the truth. This is an old belief speaking, not my deepest knowing. This is a learned pattern, not my real identity." These kinds of realizations create space between you and the voice. And space is powerful. Space lets you observe instead of obey. Space lets you question instead of surrender. Space lets you hear the voice without becoming it. Many people spend years trying to get rid of the inner voice by force. They argue with it, suppress it, shame themselves for still having it. But the deeper healing often begins when you understand it instead. When you say, "I see where this comes from. I see that this voice learned fear early. I see that it has been repeating old pain. I see that it is trying to protect even though it is hurting me. I see that this is not the whole of me." That kind of seeing changes everything. Because what is seen with compassion begins to soften. This does not mean you agree with the voice. It does not mean you let it lead. It means you stop being frightened of its existence. It means you stop confusing its volume with truth. It means you stop giving it full authority over your life. The voice may still appear, but now it meets awareness. Now it meets presence. Now it meets a deeper truth. Sometimes the voice saying you are not enough can sound spiritual too. It can say you should be more healed by now, more peaceful by now, more grateful by now, more evolved by now. Even in spiritual spaces, the wound can keep speaking. It can turn healing into pressure. It can turn growth into comparison. It can turn peace into performance. So it is important to remember that the voice of not enough can wear many forms. Sometimes it sounds harsh. Sometimes it sounds polished. Sometimes it sounds reasonable. But if it leaves you feeling smaller, more ashamed, more cut off from love, it is not the voice of truth. Truth makes room. Truth brings breath. Truth invites return. Truth reminds. It does not condemn. And the great healing in all of this is realizing that the voice can be met differently now. You are not trapped in the same relationship with it forever. You can learn to notice it sooner. You can learn to name it. You can learn to breathe before believing it. You can learn to answer it with softness instead of fear. You can learn to build another voice inside, a gentler voice, a truer voice, a voice that says, I see your pain, but I will not call it my identity. A voice that says, I made a mistake, but I am still worthy of love. A voice that says, I am growing at my own pace. A voice that says, I do not need to become someone else to deserve peace. A voice that says, I am already enough to begin. This is how healing starts moving through the inner world. Not by pretending the old voice was never there, but by no longer letting it speak alone, by bringing in truth, by bringing in love, by bringing in awareness, by bringing in compassion where there used to be only pressure. The voice inside you that says you are not enough may be old, but it is not final. It may be familiar, but it is not sacred. It may be loud, but it is not wise. It may be practiced, but it is not permanent. And the moment you begin to understand that, the moment you begin to see its roots clearly, you are already stepping out of its shadows. You are already beginning to heal the place where it once ruled without question. You are already making room for another way of living inside yourself, a softer way, a calmer way, a truer way, a way where the inner voice does not have to wound in order to be heard, a way where your own heart becomes a place of kindness, a way where your soul is no longer asked to prove its worth before being loved. And that way begins with this simple truth. The voice of not enough was learned, and what was learned can be changed. There comes a quiet moment in healing when you begin to see something you did not clearly see before. The voice inside you that says you are not enough is not your truth. It is your wound speaking. It is pain speaking in a familiar tone. It is fear wearing your voice. It is an old ache repeating itself so often that it begins to sound real. But it is not the deepest part of you. It is not the wisest part of you. It is not the loving part of you. It is the hurt part. And once you begin to understand that, something inside starts to soften. For a long time, you may have believed every word that painful voice said. You may have thought it was being honest. You may have thought it was protecting you. You may have thought it was helping you improve, helping you stay careful, helping you avoid more pain. But a wound does not speak clearly. A wound speaks from fear. A wound speaks from memory. A wound speaks from places that have not yet felt safe enough to rest. And when a wound speaks, it often does not describe what is true now. It describes what once hurt. This is why it is so important to separate truth from the wound. The wound says you are not enough. Truth says you were always enough, even while hurting. The wound says no one will stay. Truth says love is still possible. The wound says you always fail. Truth says you are learning. The wound says you must become more before you can rest. Truth says you may rest now. The wound says your value depends on what others think. Truth says your value lives deeper than opinion. When pain has been repeated for a long time, it can become difficult to hear the difference between the voice of the wound and the voice of truth. They may both sound close. They may both sound personal, but they do not feel the same in the body. The wound tightens. Truth softens. The wound rushes. Truth steadies. The wound shames. Truth heals. The wound makes you feel small and afraid. Truth may call you gently forward, but it does not strip you of dignity while doing so. That difference matters. It matters because many people spend years trying to fix themselves based on messages that came from pain. They try harder, give more, prove more, hide more, push more, and still the wound keeps speaking. Why? Because the wound is not healed by obeying it. The wound is healed by being seen clearly and met with love. You do not heal a hurting part of yourself by giving it more fear. You heal it by giving it what it did not receive enough of before: gentleness, safety, patience, truth. Imagine a mirror that has been covered in dust for many years. If you look into it, you may think the blur is your face. You may think the dimness is who you are, but the dimness is not you. The dust is not you. The dust only hides what has always been there. In the same way, the wound may cover your inner truth, but it is not your inner truth. The wound may distort how you see yourself, but it does not define what you are. Beneath the fear, beneath the old pain, beneath the repeated thought that says you are not enough, something whole still lives within you. That wholeness has never left. It may have been forgotten. It may have been hidden. It may have been covered by shame and pressure and old stories, but it has never left. Your true self has not been broken by the wound. Your true self has not become less because of what happened to you. Your true self has not lost its value because of rejection, disappointment, criticism, or delay. The wound may have changed the way you see yourself for a time, but it did not change the sacred truth of who you are. It only placed a shadow over it, and shadows can move. This is why awareness is such a powerful beginning. The moment you say, "This is my wound speaking, not my truth," you create space. That space is holy. That space is healing. That space allows you to stop reacting to every painful thought as if it were a command. It allows you to pause. It allows you to breathe. It allows you to step back and remember that not every voice inside you deserves to lead you. Sometimes the wound will speak loudly. It may speak when you make a mistake. It may speak when you feel left out. It may speak when you compare yourself with someone else. It may speak when you are tired or lonely or uncertain. It may say the same old things in the same old way. But now you are learning to listen differently. Now you are learning to say, I know this voice. I know where it comes from. I know it is hurting. But I also know it is not the whole truth. That is a great turning point. You do not have to hate the wounded part of yourself. You do not have to reject it. You do not have to be ashamed that it still speaks. You only need to stop letting it define you. You only need to stop giving it the final word. The wounded part is not bad. It is simply in pain. It is the part that learned fear early. It is the part that still braces. It is the part that expects loss, expects rejection, expects not to be enough. It does not need punishment. It needs care. Think of that wounded voice as a frightened part that never fully learned how loved it is. It speaks harshly, not because harshness is truth, but because pain became familiar. And what is familiar often feels believable. But healing asks for something new. Healing asks you to notice the harshness without bowing to it. Healing asks you to meet the wound with tenderness instead of agreement. Healing asks you to remember that a hurting voice can still be wrong. This can feel strange at first, especially if you have listened to that wound for many years. You may not yet trust the voice of truth. You may hear a gentle thought like, I am enough, and part of you may resist it. That is all right. The wound often resists love at first because love feels unfamiliar. The wound may say, no, that cannot be true. Not for me. Not yet. But truth does not stop being truth just because it is new to the nervous system. Truth remains steady while the wound learns to feel safe enough to receive it. So when the wound says, I am not enough, you do not need to force yourself into perfect belief right away. You can begin with something softer. You can say, maybe that is not the full truth. You can say, this is an old pain speaking. You can say, I am willing to see myself differently. You can say, I am learning to hear the voice of love. These are gentle bridges. These are ways of helping the heart move from fear toward truth without force. Your soul has always known something the wound forgot. Your soul knows that you are lovable. Your soul knows that you are worthy. Your soul knows that your value is not changing from one day to the next. Your soul knows that your mistakes are not your identity. Your soul knows that being human does not make you less sacred. Your soul knows that healing is possible. Your soul knows that peace belongs to you too. That is why something inside you responds when you hear gentle truth. Even if part of you doubts it, another part of you feels relief. Another part of you says yes. another part of you recognizes it. Because truth, even when softly spoken, carries a kind of peace that the wound cannot create. The wound may be loud, but truth has depth. The wound may be dramatic, but truth has steadiness. The wound may press, but truth invites. You are not meant to live your whole life through the eyes of a wound. You are not meant to keep measuring yourself by the standards of fear. You are not meant to keep calling yourself by names that pain gave you. You are not meant to build your life around an old hurt and call that identity. You are meant to remember who you are beneath it. And who you are beneath it is whole. Who you are beneath it is tender but not weak. Who you are beneath it is growing. Who you are beneath it is sacred. Who you are beneath it is still worthy of love. Who you are beneath it is not the voice of damage, but the life that remains untouched beneath the damage. There is great peace in learning to say, "This thought is from my wound," because then you no longer have to treat every painful thought as prophecy. You no longer have to hand your life over to every fearful sentence that rises. You can listen with wisdom. You can pause with compassion. You can choose what belongs to truth and what belongs to old pain. This kind of awareness changes the whole inner world. The mind becomes less of a battlefield and more of a place of noticing. The heart becomes less trapped and more understood. The body begins to feel less attacked and more supported. And healing, little by little, begins to move in. You may still have moments when the wound feels close. That does not mean you are doing anything wrong. Healing is not the sudden disappearance of every old feeling. Healing is the new relationship you build with what rises. It is the difference between becoming the wound and witnessing it. It is the difference between agreeing with the pain and caring for it. It is the difference between saying, "This is who I am," and saying, "This is something I am healing." That difference changes everything. So when the old voice returns, as it may, take a slow breath and remember, this is not my deepest self speaking. This is a hurt place asking for love. This is a fearful place asking for safety. This is an old echo, not a final truth. Then place your hand on your heart and stay there for a moment. Let your body feel that you are present. Let your mind feel that you are not reacting in the old way. Let your wounded part feel that it is being met, not abandoned. And from that quiet place, begin telling yourself something gentler, something truer, something that does not come from fear, something like, "I am still worthy even while I heal." Something like, "I am not my wound." Something like, "There is more to me than this pain." Something like, "I choose to see myself through softer eyes." These are not small words. These are healing words. These are words that help separate your identity from your injury. These are words that help you remember that the wound is a part of your story, but it is not the whole story. The pain is real, yes, but so is the love beneath it. The fear is real, yes, but so is the truth beneath it. The wound may be present, but the soul is present too, and the soul is stronger than the wound. Not louder, perhaps, but deeper. Not harder, but wiser. Not rushing, but steady. It has been waiting for you to notice that you do not have to keep living under the authority of pain. You can honor what hurt you without becoming it. You can care for the wound without calling it your identity. You can feel the ache without losing the truth. And that truth is simple, quiet, and holy. You are not the wound. You are the one who can love it. You are not the pain. You are the presence that can hold it. You are not the voice that says, you are not enough. You are the deeper voice learning to say, I am. When an old voice has repeated pain again and again, healing begins with a new voice repeating truth again and again. This is why affirmations matter so much. They are not empty words. They are not pretend. They are not there to cover pain with something fake. They are there to plant something new where fear has been planted for too long. They are there to help the mind remember what the heart has always known. They are there to teach the inner world a gentler language. The old voice became strong through repetition. The old fear became familiar through repetition. The old belief became automatic through repetition. And now, in the same quiet and steady way, love can grow through repetition too. So let this be the affirmation we begin with now. I am enough as I am. Say it softly inside. I am enough as I am. Do not rush past it. Do not demand that you fully believe it in one moment. Just let it rest within you. I am enough as I am. There is deep healing in those simple words. They do not say you will be enough later. They do not say you will be enough when you fix everything, achieve more, heal more, look different, or become more perfect. They say now. They say as I am. They say this moment of your life, this version of you, this heart, this body, this soul, this imperfect and growing self is still enough. That can feel very different from the old voice. The old voice says, when? The affirmation says, now. The old voice says, after more. The affirmation says, already. The old voice says, if you prove it. The affirmation says, you do not need to prove it. The old voice says, not yet. The affirmation says, even here. These few words begin to untie something deep. They begin to loosen the habit of always standing outside yourself, judging, correcting, withholding love. They begin to call you back into your own life. They begin to create a new inner place where peace can grow. That is why affirmations are powerful. They are not magic because they erase pain in one instant. They are powerful because they change what is being practiced inside you. And whatever is practiced with love and patience begins to take root. Think of the mind like a garden. For a long time, the garden may have been planted with thoughts like, I am behind, I am not good enough, I always fall short, I do not deserve peace, I must do more to be worthy. Those thoughts grew because they were watered often. They were repeated often. They became familiar, and the garden simply kept growing what it was given. Not because you were weak, but because the mind responds to what it hears most often. Now imagine planting a different seed. I am enough as I am. At first, it may feel small. It may feel quiet. It may feel almost too simple. But seeds are like that. They begin quietly. They do not arrive already full grown. They need repetition. They need time. They need care. They need space. And affirmations work in the same way. Each time you speak a loving truth, you plant it a little deeper. Each time you return to it, you water it. Each time you choose it instead of the old fear, you give it light. This is not about saying words with force. It is about saying them with kindness. It is not about arguing with your pain. It is about introducing a new truth to your inner world again and again until the nervous system begins to relax around it. The body listens. The heart listens. The deeper mind listens. Even when part of you still doubts, something within you is listening. So once more, very gently, I am enough as I am. Feel how different that is from the old pressure. Feel how those words do not demand anything from you. They do not ask you to perform. They do not ask you to compete. They do not ask you to become someone else. They simply offer you a place to rest. For many people, that kind of rest feels new. They are so used to earning, pushing, proving, and correcting that simple acceptance can feel almost unfamiliar. They may hear the affirmation and think, but what about all my flaws? What about my mistakes? What about the parts of me that still need healing? But being enough does not mean being finished. Being enough does not mean having no wounds. Being enough does not mean never struggling. It means your value is not reduced by your humanity. It means your worth does not disappear when you are still growing. It means you do not have to hate yourself while becoming yourself. That is what makes this affirmation so healing. It makes room for growth without removing love. It makes room for honesty without denying shame. It makes room for healing without denying worth. This is why affirmations are not about denial. They are about direction. They turn the inner world toward healing. They shift what is being fed. They help you stop pouring all your energy into the old wound and start feeding something gentler, something steadier, something true. Maybe for a long time, the voice inside you said things like, I am not enough. I am too much. I am behind. I am hard to love. I never get it right. I will always be this way. Notice how strong those sentences feel when they are repeated often. They become like paths in the mind. The more they are walked, the easier they are to walk again. That is why a new path must be walked on purpose. At first, it may not feel natural. At first, the mind may resist. At first, the old voice may grow louder for a while. That does not mean the affirmation is not working. It means a new path is being made. When you repeat, "I am enough as I am," you are doing more than saying words. You are interrupting an old pattern. You are teaching the mind that another thought is possible. You are teaching the heart that another kind of voice exists. You are showing yourself that inner life does not have to be built only from criticism. With every repetition, you weaken the rule of the old sentence a little more. You can use this affirmation at many times in the day. When you wake up and the mind begins to race, whisper it. When you look in the mirror and old judgment starts to rise, whisper it. When you make a mistake and shame comes quickly, whisper it. When you compare yourself and feel small, whisper it. When you are tired, overwhelmed, or doubting your place in life, whisper it. I am enough as I am. Let it become a gentle answer to the old voice. Not a harsh answer, not a fight, a gentle answer, like placing a warm blanket around a cold place, like lighting a candle in a room that has been dark for a long time, like opening a window where the air has felt heavy. That is what an affirmation can do. It can bring in new air. There may be days when you say it and feel nothing. That is all right. Keep planting. There may be days when you say it and tears rise. That is all right too. Sometimes tears mean the heart is hearing something it has needed for a long time. There may be days when part of you argues back. That is all right. Let the argument be there and keep choosing the softer truth. Healing does not require perfect belief from the beginning. It requires willingness. And perhaps that is where you begin today, not with complete certainty, not with perfect confidence, but with willingness. Willingness to stop speaking against yourself so often. Willingness to stop calling pain your identity. Willingness to let love say something new inside you. Willingness to return, and again, to a truth that feels simple and holy. I am enough as I am. There is wisdom in saying the same healing words many times. The mind learns through repetition. Fear knew that. That is why fear repeated itself so often. Now love will use that same path. Not to control, not to shame, not to pressure, but to restore. Little by little, with patience, the affirmation begins to live in places where fear once lived. It begins to rise on its own. It begins to appear when you need it. It begins to become familiar. And one day, perhaps quietly, you realize that the old voice is no longer the only voice you hear. There is another voice now, a calmer one, a kinder one, a truer one, a voice that says, slow down, a voice that says, breathe, a voice that says, you do not need to prove your worth today, a voice that says, you are still lovable in your imperfection, a voice that says, I am enough as I am. This is how the new inner life begins, not all at once, but one loving sentence at a time, not through force, but through faithful return, not by becoming someone else, but by meeting yourself differently. Let this affirmation move through you now like a soft light. I am enough as I am. Let it reach the places that still feel doubtful. Let it reach the places that still feel ashamed. Let it reach the places that are still trying too hard. Let it reach the tired places. Let it reach the young places inside that still feel they must earn love. Let it say to every hurting part, you do not have to perform for me. You do not have to hide from me. You do not have to become more before I care for you. You are enough as you are, and from that place of enoughness, healing can begin. This affirmation is not the end of your healing. It is the doorway. It is the beginning of a new relationship with yourself. It is the seed of a softer inner life. And every time you repeat it with tenderness, you are building something beautiful inside. You are building trust. You are building safety. You are building peace. You are building a voice that can one day become stronger than the old one. And that voice will not be strong because it is harsh. It will be strong because it is true. It will be strong because it is rooted in love. It will be strong because it does not change when the day is hard. It will be strong because it belongs to your deepest self. So keep it close. Use it slowly. Use it often. Use it when you feel certain, and use it when you do not. Use it when the day feels heavy, and use it when the day feels light. Use it as a return, as a reminder, as a resting place. I am enough as I am. Let those words stay with you. Let them settle. Let them work quietly. Let them become familiar. And let them begin the healing of the voice inside you. Self-judgment can become so normal that you no longer notice how heavy it is. It can move through your thoughts all day without asking permission. It can appear when you wake up, when you look in the mirror, when you speak, when you rest, when you make a mistake, when you remember the past, when you think about the future. It can become like a quiet background sound, always there, always shaping the way you feel. And because it becomes so familiar, you may not always see how deeply it affects your peace. But self-judgment blocks peace in many ways. It blocks peace because it keeps the mind busy attacking instead of resting. It blocks peace because it keeps the heart tense instead of open. It blocks peace because it teaches the body to stay on guard. It blocks peace because it makes love feel like something that must be earned. It blocks peace because it turns your own inner world into a place of pressure. When the mind is always judging, the nervous system rarely feels safe. There is always another reason to worry, another thing to fix, another flaw to focus on, another standard to reach. Even quiet moments become hard to enjoy because the inner voice keeps speaking. Even beautiful things can feel distant because part of you is still busy measuring yourself. Self-judgment makes it hard to relax into life. It makes it hard to receive joy. It makes it hard to trust love. It makes it hard to believe that rest can be innocent. Think of how exhausting it is to be watched all the time by a harsh voice inside. A voice that notices every mistake. A voice that speaks faster than compassion. A voice that does not know how to be gentle when you are already hurting. Under that kind of pressure, even simple days can feel heavy. Not because life is always too much, but because the inner world is not giving you a place to breathe. Many people who live with deep self-judgment also live with deep tiredness. Not only physical tiredness, but soul tiredness. The tiredness of always trying. The tiredness of always improving. The tiredness of never fully arriving. The tiredness of feeling that no matter how much you do, there is always one more reason to be disappointed in yourself. That kind of tiredness is not weakness. It is what happens when the heart has lived too long under pressure. Self-judgment often says, it is helping. It says, if I am hard on myself, I will do better. If I point out every flaw, I will stay in control. If I criticize myself first, others cannot hurt me as much. If I keep pushing, I will become worthy. But look closely at what that voice creates. Does it create peace? Does it create trust? Does it create joy? Does it create a loving relationship with yourself? Or does it create fear, shame, tension, and the constant feeling that you are chasing a finish line that keeps moving? Self-judgment may create movement, but it rarely creates peace. It may create effort, but it rarely creates safety. It may create outer performance, but inside, it often leaves emptiness. Because peace cannot live where the heart is always being scolded. Peace cannot stay where worthiness always feels uncertain. Peace cannot fully land in a person who feels they must earn the right to relax. This is one of the hidden costs of the voice that says you are not enough. It does not only make you feel bad, it changes the way you live. It can make you overwork because deep down you are trying to prove value. It can make you compare yourself all the time because you are looking outside for evidence that you matter. It can make you fear slowing down because you think stillness will expose your flaws. It can make you struggle to accept love because you feel you have not done enough to deserve it. It can make you hide your needs because you do not want to seem weak. It can make you reject compliments, push away support, and feel uncomfortable receiving good things. This is how self-judgment keeps peace away. It teaches you to live as if worth is always far away, always conditional, always waiting on the next achievement, the next approval, the next improvement. But peace begins when you stop living like you must qualify for your own love. There is a quiet sadness in trying to earn what is already yours, and worthiness is already yours. It does not appear only after success. It does not arrive only after healing. It does not belong only to the strongest, the most confident, or the most admired. Worthiness is not a reward. It is the ground beneath your life. You began worthy. You remain worthy. And the voice of self-judgment cannot change that, no matter how often it repeats itself. Still, when that voice has been present for a long time, it can feel safer to judge yourself than to love yourself. That may sound strange, but it is true for many people. Judgment feels familiar. Love feels exposed. Judgment feels like control. Love feels like surrender. Judgment keeps the walls up. Love asks the walls to soften. So the mind may keep returning to harshness because harshness feels known. But what is known is not always what heals. What heals is kindness. What heals is patience. What heals is speaking to yourself in a way that allows your body to unclench. What heals is learning that you do not need to attack yourself in order to grow. Growth can happen in a softer field. In fact, much of real healing only happens there. Look at how a flower grows. It does not open because someone yells at it. It opens in warmth, in light, in safe conditions. The heart is not so different. A person may survive in harshness for a long time, but they open in kindness. They bloom in safety. They heal in love. And peace begins to grow when the inner climate changes. So ask yourself gently, what does self-judgment actually give me? Does it make me feel free? Does it make me feel alive? Does it make me trust myself more? Or does it keep me in a cycle of tension, striving, and emotional hunger? There is no need to answer with blame. Just notice. Notice what this old way has cost you. Notice how many peaceful moments were interrupted by inner criticism. Notice how often joy became small because judgment entered the room. Notice how many times you have withheld tenderness from yourself because you believed softness had to be earned. This noticing matters because it brings honesty, and honesty opens the door to change. You do not have to keep worshiping the voice that wounds you. You do not have to keep calling self-attack discipline. You do not have to keep turning pain into a daily habit and calling it normal. You are allowed to live another way. You are allowed to speak to yourself differently. You are allowed to choose peace over pressure. And choosing peace does not mean you stop caring about your life. It does not mean you stop growing. It does not mean you stop being responsible. It means you stop making war the method. It means you stop using shame as a tool. It means you stop believing that love must wait until after perfection. It means you begin walking with yourself instead of standing against yourself. This is where worthiness must be seen clearly. Worthiness is not created by success. Worthiness is not earned by pain. Worthiness is not increased by perfection. Worthiness is not reduced by struggle. Worthiness is not taken away by mistakes. Worthiness is not given by other people. Worthiness is something already alive within you. When you begin to live from that truth, peace comes closer. Because if you are already worthy, you no longer need to prove yourself every moment. If you are already worthy, rest becomes possible. Receiving becomes possible. Joy becomes possible. Gentle growth becomes possible. Love becomes possible. Not because everything outside has changed, but because the inner ground is changing. Self-judgment says, once you become enough, then you may have peace. Truth says, the moment you stop fighting your worth, peace can begin to enter. That is a very different path. One path keeps you chasing. The other path brings you home. And perhaps that is what your heart has been longing for all along. Not one more reason to push harder, but a way home, a way back to yourself, a way back to inner quiet, a way back to living without being watched every moment by a harsh voice, a way back to breathing without guilt, a way back to existing without having to constantly prove that you deserve your place in the world. Imagine how much energy would return to you if you were not using so much of it against yourself. Imagine how much lighter your body would feel. Imagine how much calmer your mind would become. Imagine how much easier love would be to receive. Imagine how much more peaceful your days could feel. This is not a fantasy. This is what begins to happen when self-judgment loosens and kindness takes its place. Little by little, the inner world changes. The mind becomes less sharp. The chest becomes less tight. The body stops bracing so often. The heart begins to trust itself again. The soul feels less crowded. And peace, which once felt far away, begins to feel possible. So if you have been judging yourself harshly, let this be a gentle turning point. Not a place to judge yourself for judgment. Not another reason to feel bad, just a turning point. A quiet moment of seeing clearly. A moment of saying, this old way is not bringing me peace. I am ready to try another way. I am ready to speak to myself more gently. I am ready to stop earning what has always been mine. I am ready to remember that worthiness already lives here. Take a slow breath and let that truth settle. You do not need to become more worthy. You need to stop speaking to yourself as if you are less. You do not need to reach some perfect state before peace can touch you. You need to stop letting self-judgment stand at the door. You do not need to win a fight against yourself in order to be free. You need to let the fight begin to end. And maybe today, that ending is very simple. Maybe it looks like one softer thought. Maybe it looks like not repeating the old insult. Maybe it looks like placing a hand on your heart when shame rises. Maybe it looks like whispering, "I am enough as I am." Maybe it looks like choosing not to believe every cruel thing the mind says. These are not small acts. These are peaceful acts. These are sacred acts. These are the kinds of choices that slowly open the door to a new life within you. A life where peace does not have to fight its way in. A life where worthiness is no longer something you chase. A life where your own voice becomes a place of support. A life where the heart can finally breathe. And as that begins to happen, even in small ways, you will start to feel something beautiful returning. Not because you earned it, not because you finally became perfect, but because it was there all along, waiting beneath the noise of judgment, the quiet peace of being enough already. Now that you can see the old voice more clearly, now that you can begin to separate truth from the wound, and now that a new affirmation has entered the heart, something very gentle can begin. Release. Not force, not struggle. Release. Because healing is not only about understanding where the pain came from. Healing is also about letting the body, the heart, and the mind loosen their grip on what they have been carrying for too long. For so long, that inner voice may have felt like part of your daily life. You may have carried it into every room without even noticing. You may have taken its words into your sleep, into your mornings, into your work, into your relationships, into the way you looked at yourself, into the way you expected life to treat you. And after carrying something for a long time, even if it hurts, it can begin to feel normal. The weight becomes familiar. The heaviness becomes part of the posture. The sadness becomes part of the breath. The pressure becomes part of the way the heart moves through the day. But you do not have to carry it forever. You do not have to keep holding every harsh word that was ever spoken to you. You do not have to keep protecting every old wound with tension. You do not have to keep repeating every painful message inside your own mind. Release is possible. And release often begins quietly. It begins with a breath. It begins with a pause. It begins with the willingness to say, "I do not want to keep holding this in the same way." Take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine the body beginning to soften in places where it has been holding too much, the chest that has been tight with trying, the shoulders that have been carrying pressure, the stomach that has been full of fear, the throat that has held unspoken sadness. Let the exhale move through those places like a warm wave. Not to force anything open, but simply to say, "You may soften now." So much self-judgment lives in the body. It is not only a thought, it is a feeling of contraction, a feeling of shrinking, a feeling of bracing. a feeling of waiting for something to go wrong, a feeling of never fully resting. When the inner voice keeps saying you are not enough, the body begins to listen. It tightens around that message. It prepares for rejection, for failure, for disappointment. It holds itself small. It holds itself guarded. It holds itself apart from peace. That is why this release matters, because peace cannot fully enter where everything is held too tightly. Imagine for a moment that you are holding a heavy bundle in your hands. It is made of old pressure, old shame, old fear, old words, old moments when you felt less than, unseen, unwanted, or not enough. Imagine that bundle has weight. Not because you are weak, but because you have carried it for a long time. Feel how long the heart has been carrying it. Feel how tired that part of you must be. Now imagine that in front of you there is a soft, warm light. Not a harsh light, not a blinding light, a loving light, a quiet light, a healing light. It is steady, it is gentle. It does not demand anything from you. It only invites release. It says, you do not have to hold all of this alone anymore. It says what has been heavy can be set down. It says what has been painful can begin to loosen. It says what has been repeated can begin to end. And so, with the breath, begin placing some of that bundle into the light. Not all at once if that feels too much, just a little at a time. Release the pressure to be perfect. Release the fear of never being enough. Release the habit of calling yourself by painful names. Release the belief that love must be earned. Release the old shame that made a home inside your mind. Release the constant need to prove. Release the exhaustion of comparing yourself with others. Release the old sentence that says you will only matter when you become more. Let each exhale carry something out. Let each breath become an opening. You do not need to know exactly how release happens. You do not need to perform it perfectly. You only need to become willing. Willingness is enough to begin. Even the smallest willingness creates a crack in the wall. Even the softest readiness allows light to enter. And where light enters, healing begins to move. Perhaps as you breathe, memories rise. Moments when you first felt not enough. Moments when you felt judged. Moments when you were not met with the love you needed. Moments when you began to question your value. If those memories come, do not fight them. Do not drown in them. Simply notice them with tenderness. Those were painful moments. Those moments shaped things inside you, but they do not define the whole of you. Let the light touch those moments too. Let it reach backward into the places that still ache. Let it say, I see what hurt you. I see why you tightened. I see why you learned to protect yourself this way. And now, gently, we can begin to release. Release is not forgetting. Release is not pretending nothing hurt. Release is not saying the pain was small. Release means you are no longer asking the wound to lead your life. Release means you stop giving the past full authority over the present. Release means you allow pain to be acknowledged without letting it remain the ruler of your inner world. There is a sacred gentleness in that. Sometimes the heart believes that if it lets go of pain, it will lose part of its story. Sometimes it believes that if it stops carrying the wound, it is somehow being unfair to what happened. But letting go is not dishonoring the past. Letting go is honoring your life. It is saying, yes, this hurt me, but I do not want to keep bleeding from the same place forever. It is saying, yes, this shaped me, but I do not want it to keep speaking for me. It is saying, yes, this pain was real, but so is my healing. Take another slow breath. Imagine the old words inside you beginning to melt. Not because you are pushing them away, but because they are losing their hold. The words that said, you are not enough. The words that said you would never be loved fully. The words that said you always fail. The words that said you are too much or not enough. The words that taught you to withhold gentleness from yourself. Let them sow. Let them lose their sharp edges. Let them become lighter than they once were. And in the space that opens, begin to welcome something new. Welcome softness. Welcome peace. Welcome the feeling of not having to fight yourself in this moment. Welcome the possibility that you do not have to continue living with the same inner pressure. Welcome the truth that your heart can learn another way. There is something deeply healing about simply imagining the old burden leaving your body. The mind responds to images. The body responds to feeling. The heart responds to kindness. So let this release be real for you. See it if you can. Feel it if you can. Sense the heaviness moving out if you can. And if you cannot fully sense it yet, that is all right too. The willingness still matters. The intention still matters. The breath still matters. Now imagine that the place inside you where the old voice used to shout is becoming quieter. Not empty, but quieter, more open, more spacious, more tender. This space is important because the old voice was not only painful, it was also loud. And healing requires room. Love requires room. Peace requires room. Truth requires room. If the mind is crowded with constant self-attack, there is no place for the softer voice to be heard. But when release begins, space begins. And in that space, something beautiful can enter. Let that space fill with a gentle sentence now. I release the need to be someone else to be worthy. Breathe. I release the old voice of fear. Breathe. I release the pressure to prove my value. Breathe. I open to peace. Breathe. I allow myself to soften. Breathe. These are not only words, they are openings. They are doors inside the heart. They are ways of telling the inner world that a new season is beginning. A season where you do not have to grip pain so tightly. A season where the nervous system can begin to rest. A season where your identity is no longer built around what wounded you. A season where the old voice no longer gets the final word. If tears come, let them come. Tears are often part of release. They are not weakness. They are movement. They are the body saying something is softening. Something is washing through. Something that was held too long is finally being allowed to leave. Let tears be gentle if they rise. Let them move without shame. Let them be part of the healing. And if nothing dramatic happens, that is all right too. Release is not always loud. Sometimes it is very quiet. Sometimes release looks like a softer breath, a less tense jaw, a little more room in the chest, a thought that does not hurt as much as it did yesterday, a moment of not believing the old voice so quickly, a moment of remembering that you are safe enough to stop clenching. These are real signs of healing too. Stay here for a few more re-breaths and let yourself feel what it might be like to no longer carry the same heavy sentence every day. What would it feel like to wake up without immediately going to war with yourself? What would it feel like to look at your life through gentler eyes? What would it feel like to make a mistake and still stay on your own side? What would it feel like to live without always trying to prove that you deserve your place here? Let that feeling begin, even a little, because the heart learns not only through thought, but through experience. And what you are giving it now is a new experience. The experience of release. The experience of being held by gentleness. The experience of laying down what no longer needs to be carried. The experience of discovering that softness does not destroy you. It restores you. Now whisper inward if you are ready. I let go of the old voice that says I am not enough. I release shame from my body and mind. I make room for peace. I make room for love. I make room for a kinder truth. Let those words move slowly through you. Let them touch the hidden places. Let them reach the tired places. Let them reach the younger places inside that learn to survive through tension. Let them say, you do not have to hold on so tightly anymore, because you do not. And the more you release, the more the heart begins to remember its natural state. Not fear, not shame, not endless proving. Its natural state is openness. Its natural state is worth. Its natural state is love. The old voice may have covered that for a while, but it did not remove it. Now, with every breath, you are uncovering it again. This release is not the end. It is the clearing. It is the soft opening through which healing can continue to enter. It is the quiet moment when the heart says, I am ready to stop carrying myself in pain. I am ready to breathe in another way. I am ready to loosen what fear has held tight. I am ready to make room for love. And that room is opening now. Once the old burden begins to loosen, the question becomes very important. What now fills the space? Because the heart does not heal only by releasing pain. It heals by receiving what the pain could not give. It heals by being met in a new way. It heals by being spoken to differently. It heals by being held in a new kind of inner relationship. And that new relationship is built through self-love. Self-love is the medicine, not because it is a sweet idea, not because it sounds comforting, not because it makes everything easy all at once, but because love is what the wound has been missing. The voice that says you are not enough cannot heal you. Fear cannot heal you. Shame cannot heal you. Endless pressure cannot heal you. Control cannot heal you. They may keep you moving. They may keep you striving. They may keep you alert. But they do not heal. Healing begins when love enters where judgment used to live. For many people, self-love can feel unfamiliar. Even the words can feel distant. Some may think it sounds too soft, too simple, too unrealistic. Some may think love should come only after they improve. Some may think they must first become more worthy of loving themselves. But that is the old voice speaking again. Self-love is not something you give yourself after you become perfect. Self-love is what helps you heal while you are still becoming. It is not the reward at the end. It is the medicine along the way. Self-love does not mean pretending you never hurt. It does not mean denying your mistakes. It does not mean becoming proud in a way that closes the heart. It does not mean saying everything is easy. Self-love means choosing not to abandon yourself in your own pain. It means choosing not to become another source of harm to yourself. It means learning how to stay near your own heart with compassion. It means speaking to yourself in ways that create life instead of fear. It means treating yourself as someone worthy of care, even on the days when you feel uncertain. This kind of love is deeply spiritual because it returns you to truth. The deepest truth is not that you are broken and must earn your way back into worth. The deepest truth is that you are already worthy because life itself lives within you. Your existence is not a mistake. Your heart is not an accident. Your soul is not something that must first become impressive before it deserves tenderness. Love is not a prize for the finished version of you. Love is meant to meet you here. So ask yourself gently, what has the hurting part inside me needed all along? Perhaps it needed reassurance. Perhaps it needed safety. Perhaps it needed someone to say, "You do not have to be perfect for me to stay." Perhaps it needed someone to say, "Your feelings matter." Perhaps it needed someone to say, I will not speak to you like that anymore. Perhaps it needed someone to say, I know you are hurting, and I will meet you with kindness now. That is what self-love begins to do. It becomes the voice that the wounded part never had enough of. It becomes the steady hand. It becomes the patient presence. It becomes the warm light. It becomes the inner home. Self-love is not selfish. It is sacred. It is sacred because when you love yourself, you stop asking your own heart to survive on criticism. You stop starving your soul of gentleness. You stop making worth depend on performance. You stop treating tenderness as something you must earn. You begin to create inner conditions where peace can grow, where trust can grow, where healing can actually stay. There is a reason harshness has not healed the wound. Harshness only repeats the wound. If someone was already hurting, more pain was never going to be the cure. If someone already felt unworthy, more shame was never going to become the answer. Love is the answer because love gives the nervous system a new experience. Love says you are safe here. Love says you can breathe here. Love says you can make mistakes and still remain worthy here. Love says, I am not leaving you because you are imperfect. Love says, I will not punish you for being human. That kind of love changes people, not in loud ways at first, in quiet ways. The body softens, the mind becomes less cruel, the heart becomes more open. Rest becomes less frightening. Receiving becomes easier. Life begins to feel less like a test and more like a relationship. This is what self-love does. It rebuilds the inner world from the ground up. It teaches your system that it is possible to live without constant self-attack. It teaches the wounded parts of you that kindness is not dangerous. It teaches the heart that it no longer has to live in survival all the time. Maybe no one taught you this early in life. Maybe love was given only when you performed well. Maybe you learned that mistakes brought distance. Maybe you learned that being hard on yourself was the only way to stay responsible. Maybe you learned that softness would make you weak. But those were learned ideas, not eternal truths. You can learn something new now. You can learn that love makes healing possible. You can learn that compassion does not make you lazy. You can learn that tenderness can hold you more deeply than fear ever could. Picture the hurting part inside you as something tender and tired. Not bad, not broken beyond repair. Just tired. Tired of being judged. Tired of carrying too much. Tired of hearing that it is not enough. Tired of trying to become lovable by force. Now imagine turning toward that part with warmth. Not to fix it right away, not to demand anything from it, simply to say, I see you. I know you have been hurting. I know you have been trying. I know you have been carrying so much. And I am going to meet you with love now. That is medicine. That is healing. That is the beginning of a new life inside yourself. Self-love can sound like many things. It can sound like, I am still worthy on a hard day. It can sound like, I do not need to insult myself to improve. It can sound like, I choose to be gentle with my process. It can sound like, I forgive myself for believing old pain. It can sound like, I am learning to stay on my own side. It can sound like, I speak to myself with compassion now. These are not weak sentences. These are life-giving sentences. They build inner trust. They invite peace. They restore dignity. They remind the heart that healing does not happen through attack, but through acceptance and patient care. And acceptance does not mean giving up. Acceptance means beginning from truth. It means saying, this is where I am, and I will not reject myself here. This is what hurts, and I will not punish myself for it. This is the part of me that still feels small, and I will not make it smaller. This is the place that needs love, and I am willing to give it love. That willingness is powerful. You may not feel overflowing love for yourself all at once. That is all right. Self-love does not have to begin as a huge feeling. Sometimes it begins as a quiet decision, a decision not to speak as cruelly inside, a decision to pause before believing the worst about yourself, a decision to rest when tired instead of pushing in shame, a decision to say one kind sentence where once there would have been 10 harsh ones, a decision to meet your pain with curiosity instead of attack. These small decisions are acts of love, and repeated over time, they change everything. The heart does not need perfect love from you to begin healing. It needs real love. Consistent love, simple love, gentle love, the kind of love that stays, the kind of love that does not disappear the moment you make a mistake, the kind of love that says, I am here, even now. Think of how a tender plant grows. It needs water, light, care, and time. If you shouted at it every day and called it weak for not blooming fast enough, it would not grow better. It would only remain in strain. The heart is the same. A person may survive in harshness for a long time, but they open in kindness. They bloom in safety. They heal in love. And peace begins to grow when the inner climate changes. And there is something else beautiful about self-love. It does not only heal the voice inside you, it changes how you move through the whole world. When you stop starving yourself of kindness, you no longer beg so desperately for crumbs of approval. When you begin to know your worth inwardly, you stop chasing your value through exhaustion. When your own voice becomes softer, you stop carrying as much hidden fear into relationships. When you love yourself more deeply, peace no longer feels so far away. because you are no longer the one standing in its way. This love is for you now, not later, not after one more achievement, not after one more change, not after you prove how much you deserve it. Now, while you are still growing, while you are still healing, while some parts of you still doubt, while some parts of you still ache, now is where love belongs. So place a hand over your heart again and let yourself hear these words slowly. I choose to love myself gently. I choose to speak to myself with kindness. I do not need to become more to deserve my own love. My healing begins in compassion. Let those words become warm inside you. Let them move into the places that still feel guarded. Let them touch the places that still expect judgment. Let them say, something new is happening here. The old way is not the only way anymore. Love is entering. Love is staying. Love is becoming the medicine. And maybe this is what your heart has wanted more than anything. Not more pressure, not more criticism, not another reason to feel behind, but love. Not a love that asks you to pretend. A love that sees the wound and stays. A love that sees the fear and remains calm. A love that sees the imperfection and does not leave. A love that says, you are already worthy of being held with tenderness. That is self-love, and that is why it heals. Once love begins to enter, the next step is very important. The old voice cannot be the only voice anymore. A new inner voice must be built, not in a rushed way, not in a forced way, but steadily, patiently, lovingly. Because if the old voice was built through years of repetition, then the new voice will also be built through repetition. If the old voice became strong because it was practiced, then the loving voice will grow strong because it is practiced too. This is one of the deepest truths of healing. The inner world changes through what is repeated. The harsh voice repeated fear. Now the healing voice will repeat truth. The old voice said, you are not enough. The new voice says, I am enough. The old voice said, you always fail. The new voice says, I am learning. The old voice said, you must prove your worth. The new voice says, my worth already lives within me. The old voice said, speak harshly so you stay in control. The new voice says, kindness is safer than shame. This new voice does not arrive all at once, fully grown. It is built sentence by sentence, breath by breath, moment by moment. It grows each time you interrupt the old pattern and choose something gentler. It grows each time you notice the wound speaking and answer with compassion. It grows each time you refuse to turn one mistake into an attack on your whole identity. It grows each time you come back to truth instead of sinking into the same old fear. At first, the new voice may feel quiet. It may feel smaller than the old one. It may feel unfamiliar. You may even doubt it. that is normal. What has been practiced for years often sounds louder than what is just beginning. But do not mistake loudness for truth. The old voice may be loud because it is old. The new voice may be quiet because it is young. But quiet things can grow strong. Gentle things can become steady. Loving things can become natural when they are practiced with patience. So what does this new voice sound like? It sounds simple. It sounds calm. It sounds kind. It sounds clear. It sounds like something the heart can rest in. It does not rush. It does not shame. It does not compare. It does not use fear to get your attention. It does not threaten you with unworthiness. It does not move the line every time you get close. It speaks in a way that leaves dignity intact. It speaks in a way that creates room inside the body. It speaks in a way that helps peace stay. It may sound like this: I am enough as I am. I am worthy of love. I choose peace over self-attack. I speak kindly to myself. I am learning to trust my own heart. My mistakes do not erase my value. I can grow without hating myself. I am healing, and healing takes tenderness. These are not just positive thoughts. They are building blocks. They are the language of a new inner life. Every time you return to them, you strengthen them. Every time you choose them over the old voice, you deepen their roots. And over time, something beautiful happens. The mind begins to reach for them more easily. The heart begins to believe them more naturally. The body begins to relax around them. The nervous system begins to feel safer in their presence. Think about how often the old voice used to speak. It spoke in the mirror. It spoke after mistakes. It spoke when you felt unsure. It spoke when you compared yourself. It spoke when you were tired. It spoke when you wanted love. It spoke when you tried something new. It spoke often, and that is why it became so strong. So now the new voice must enter those same places. When you look in the mirror, let the new voice speak. When you are tired, let the new voice speak. When you make a mistake, let the new voice speak. When fear rises, let the new voice speak. When comparison begins, let the new voice speak. When old shame returns, let the new voice speak. That is how the pattern changes. Not by waiting for the old voice to disappear on its own, but by giving the heart another way to respond. The old voice may still appear for a while, but it no longer speaks alone. Now it is met. Now it is answered. Now it is no longer the only authority in the room. You are building an inner companion, a voice that walks with you, a voice that steadies you, a voice that reminds you of truth when fear begins to rise, a voice that helps you stay with yourself instead of turning against yourself. That voice becomes one of the greatest gifts of healing, because life will still have hard days. There will still be moments of uncertainty. There will still be times when old wounds get touched. But when a loving inner voice has been built, those moments no longer destroy peace in the same way. You have something within you that can help hold the moment. You have something within you that knows how to return to truth. This new voice should be practiced daily, not because you are forcing healing, but because daily life is where identity is shaped. The small moments matter. The sentence you say to yourself in the morning matters. The way you speak inwardly after a hard conversation matters. The thoughts you repeat while looking at your reflection matter. The way you hold yourself in failure matters. These moments may seem small, but they are where the new voice is built. You can begin the day with it. Before the world starts speaking, let your healing voice speak first. You can say, "Today I choose kindness inside. Today I remember that I am enough. Today I will speak to myself with love. Today I will not use shame as my teacher." These simple sentences shape the energy of the day. They set a tone. They remind the inner world that a new pattern is being practiced. And when the day becomes difficult, you return to that tone again, not perfectly, but faithfully. There is no need to wait until you fully feel worthy before using a worthy voice. In fact, the worthy voice helps the feeling grow. Many people wait for emotion before practice, but healing often works the other way. Practice comes first. Repetition comes first. Choosing comes first. And then slowly, feeling begins to change. The mind begins to soften. The heart begins to trust the new tone. The body begins to stop expecting attack. This takes time, and that is all right. The old voice was not built in one day. The new one does not need to be either. Be patient with this process. You are not failing because the old voice still appears. You are healing because you are learning to answer it differently. That difference matters. That is progress. That is new life growing. Perhaps sometimes the new voice will feel stronger than other times. On calm days, it may come easily. On hard days, you may have to reach for it with more intention. That is all right. The point is not perfection. The point is return. Return to the loving sentence. Return to the gentler truth. Return to the reminder that you are no longer willing to build your inner life on shame. The new voice can also become a place of refuge. When the outside world feels heavy, you can come inward and hear something steady. You can hear, "I am here." You can hear, "Breathe." You can hear, "This moment is hard, but I am still on your side." You can hear, "We do not need to panic." You can hear, "Your worth has not changed." You can hear, "Let us move through this gently." That kind of inner refuge is powerful. It changes how life feels. It changes how quickly fear takes over. It changes how deeply peace can stay. And as the new voice grows, something else begins to happen. The old voice begins to lose its power, not because you fought it harder, but because you stopped feeding it so much. You stopped repeating it as truth. You stopped using it as guidance. You stopped letting it define your worth. It becomes less central, less convincing, less final. It may still visit, but it no longer rules. This is how healing becomes real in everyday life, not only in deep moments, not only in spiritual insight, but in the ongoing way you speak inside. The way you respond to yourself becomes your healing path. So keep giving yourself these small truths. Enough. I am worthy of love. I choose peace. I speak gently to myself. I am safe to heal. I am growing in kindness. I do not need to become someone else to deserve compassion. Every loving thought weakens the old pattern. Every kind sentence makes the new path easier to walk. Every moment of inner tenderness teaches the nervous system a new possibility. Do not underestimate how life-changing that is. It may feel slow, but slow does not mean weak. It may feel gentle, but gentle does not mean powerless. It may feel simple, but simple does not mean small. A new inner voice, built over time with love, can change everything. It can change the way you wake up. It can change the way you see yourself. It can change the way you move through mistakes. It can change the way you receive love. It can change the way you carry your spirit through the world. And most of all, it can change the way peace feels inside you. Because peace becomes possible when your own voice stops being a place of danger. Peace becomes natural when your own words begin to feel like support. Peace becomes sustainable when love is practiced often enough to become familiar. That is where this is leading. Toward a life where the inner voice no longer wounds by habit. Toward a life where your own mind becomes gentler. Toward a life where your heart does not have to hide from you. Toward a life where your spirit is spoken to with dignity. Toward a life where the voice inside you begins to sound more and more like truth. And truth sounds like this: I am enough. I am loved. I am healing. I am becoming softer with myself. I am learning to live without war inside. I am building a voice that carries peace. Take a slow breath now and let everything you have been hearing settle gently inside you. There is no need to rush. There is no need to grasp at every word. Healing does not grow through pressure. It grows through quiet repetition, through gentle returning, through moments like this where the heart begins to remember what it has always needed to hear. The voice inside you that kept saying you were not enough may have been with you for a long time. It may have shaped many days, It may have touched many choices. It may have followed you through many seasons, but it is not the only voice within you now. Something else has begun. A softer voice, a kinder voice, a truer voice, a voice that does not shame you for being human, a voice that does not ask you to hate yourself into healing, a voice that does not measure your worth by your mistakes, your speed, your past, or other people's opinions. That new voice is here. It may still be quiet, but it is here. It may still be growing, but it is here. It may still need practice, but it is here. And every time you choose gentleness, it becomes stronger. Every time you pause before believing the old wound, it becomes clearer. Every time you place a hand on your heart instead of turning against yourself, it becomes steadier. Every time you speak with love instead of fear, it becomes more familiar. This is how healing takes root. You do not need to force your whole life to change tonight. You do not need to heal every layer all at once. You do not need to leave this moment as a completely different person. You only need to keep returning. Return to the breath. Return to the heart. Return to the truth. Return to the new voice. Return to the gentle sentence that says, I am enough as I am. That return is powerful. That return is sacred. That return is what builds peace. Some days the old voice may still come close. On those days, do not be afraid. Do not think you have lost your healing. Do not think you have failed. Healing is not the absence of old patterns. Healing is the new way you meet them. Healing is remembering, even in the hard moment, that you do not have to agree with every fear. Healing is remembering that the wound may speak, but the soul speaks too. Healing is remembering that love is becoming stronger inside you, one gentle choice at a time. Trust that. Trust the small changes. Trust the softer breath. Trust the calmer body. Trust the way your heart is beginning to open. Trust the way the old words do not feel quite as powerful as they once did. Trust the way kindness is beginning to sound less strange. Trust the way peace is beginning to feel a little more possible. These are signs, quiet signs, holy signs, signs that something real is happening within you. You are not too late to heal this voice. You are not too damaged to learn another way. You are not too far from peace. You are not too broken for love to reach. You are not too lost to come home to yourself. The truth is much simpler and much kinder. You are worthy now. You are lovable now. You are enough now. Not one day, not after more, not when everything is perfect. Now, let that truth rest in your chest for a moment. Let it move through the places that still doubt. Let it reach the places that still ache. Let it touch the young places inside that waited so long to hear something gentle. And if you can, whisper these words slowly, like a blessing to your own soul. I am enough as I am. I choose to speak to myself with love. I release the voice of fear. I welcome peace into my heart. I am worthy of love and kindness. I am healing the voice inside me. Say them slowly. Let them be more than words. Let them become a feeling. Let them beck me a new direction. Let them become a home inside you. Because that is what this healing really is. It is a homecoming, a return from self-rejection to self-compassion, a return from pressure to peace, a return from the old wound to the deeper truth, a return to the place within you that has always remained whole beneath all the noise. And now, before this moment closes, just rest in this quiet knowing. You do not have to keep chasing worthiness. You do not have to keep proving your value. You do not have to keep speaking to yourself through the language of pain. You can choose another way now, a softer way, a calmer way, a more loving way, a way that honors your healing, a way that supports your spirit, a way that allows peace to stay. So whenever the old voice returns, meet it with tenderness. Whenever fear rises, breathe into the heart. Whenever shame appears, answer it with truth. Whenever you forget, begin again. Again and again, begin again. There is no shame in returning. Returning is part of the path. Returning is how the new voice becomes strong. Returning is how self-love becomes natural. Returning is how the heart learns that peace is safe. Stay close to that knowing. Stay close to that kindness. Stay close to that gentle inner truth. And remember, the most healing voice in your life can become your own. At the heart of all of this is one beautiful truth. The voice inside you can change. The old voice that said you were not enough is not the final story. It was learned, and what was learned can be softened. It was repeated, and what was repeated can be replaced. It came from pain, but your future does not have to be led by pain. It can be led by truth. It can be led by love. It can be led by the quiet strength of a heart that is finally learning to stay on its own side. You have seen now that the old voice is not your deepest self. It is the wound speaking. You have seen that peace cannot grow where self-judgment is always speaking the loudest. You have seen that release is possible, that self-love is the medicine, and that a new inner voice can be built gently over time. This matters because the way you speak inside becomes the way you live. When the inner world softens, life begins to soften too. When your own voice becomes kinder, your heart begins to trust again. When your thoughts no longer attack your worth, peace finds room to stay. So carry this with you in a simple way. When the old voice rises, pause, breathe, place your hand on your heart, and answer with something true. Answer with something loving. Answer with something that brings your spirit back to itself. Let your daily practice be gentle. Let your healing be patient. Let your love for yourself be real, not perfect, just real. That is enough to begin. That is enough to continue. That is enough to change the whole feeling of your life, one tender moment at a time. And above all, remember this as often as you need to. You are enough as you are. You are worthy of love. You are safe to heal. You are allowed to speak to yourself with kindness. You are allowed to live without war inside. You are allowed to become a home of peace for your own heart.